If you are starting Hearthstone in 2026, it might look a bit overwhelming. In this video, I'll guide you through everything you need to know as a beginner to Hearthstone. We'll be going through all the features available and how to maximize their value, and most importantly, what to avoid spending your dust and gold on. Finally, I'll tell you what I would do if I were starting from zero today. Let's jump in now with the Apprentice Track, which is where you start after completing the tutorial. So in the main menu, you can go through the Apprentice Track here, and here you get everything that's really important when you begin the game. And pretty much what you want to do is just complete these tasks here, basically, like the Gold Rush Pack City, all of these. Just focus on those. The Apprentice Track teaches you all the basics that you need to know, so just follow what it says. Complete these things, and then you get on the Apprentice Track very important things. It's already got some unlocked, but yeah, you begin with Mage and then you unlock Hunter immediately, and you begin unlocking more classes. So right here we get Warrior, Paladin, and some 25 gold unlocked. So that is nice. And yeah, during the Apprentice Track I would just try and play kind of all the decks a little bit, a game or two, kind of get to know those cards. And then when you get further, you get more classes, more gold, packs on here as well. I would definitely try and complete this. Yeah, you can skip this, but you pass on a lot of gold and packs if you do that. And here we get a very important pack as well. It is the catch-up pack. And what this pack does is that it, based on your collection, gives you up to 50 cards, as you can see here. So if you get these packs, you want to be opening them before you open other packs. Now, it's fine to open the packs before that, because it doesn't really influence how much you get of these. But you don't want to be waiting with these packs, then get a little bit of collection and open these. Then you get less cards overall. So yeah, open these always first, and you get a ton of cards from that. So that is really nice. And here you get more stuff. You can pick one of these three. You can you really pick any, just pick something that you like. It doesn't matter too much here what you pick, it's just really to get to know the game. Here you can unlock the first mode, which is the Tavern Brawl. You can unlock more stuff again. Here you unlock the arena, we'll go over that a bit later. And another pack, Tavern tickets, which is what you'll need to play the arena with. And then finally you'll get here and you get one of the ladder ready decks. These are 6 decks you get to play with just for a whole week. And it's really nice to try out a bunch of different stuff. Like these are basically just meta decks, though maybe not optimized, but they can definitely compete. So just try them out all, and then at the end of the week you have to pick one of them, and then you can keep all those cards from that deck. But it's really nice to have after you complete the Apprentice Track, just have a bunch of stuff to play without actually having to craft anything, and you just get to explore the meta for a week. So that is the Apprentice Track. Now let's take a look how it looks after you complete it. So here's the main menu where you always begin, and yeah, there's a lot of buttons over here, but let's just start easily with the Hearthstone button here. I think that makes sense. So here you get into the deck selection screen, where you can select your decks and queue up a ladder. Now also what we have here is the rank, and once a month is over you get rewards based on your highest rank, and you can click on this and see what you get. So I've reached the highest rank, so I get all these packs and rares here, so that's really nice. But yeah, it depends on your highest rank, so yeah, don't be afraid of playing. There's also rank floors, so once you reach for example silver 10, you can no longer drop below silver 10, and I would definitely recommend trying to climb as high as possible, because yeah, getting extra packs each month is just really nice to have. And when we go back here, one important thing is that the mode we're playing here is standard. Now this is the most competitive mode. This is where most people play, and this is where most balance changes happen. Now there's also other modes, and you get there by clicking on this button here. So you can see here, now Twist is locked. It's been unplayable for a year already, and I'm pretty sure it's dead, so just ignore that. And here we have the standard, and you can see here it's only core set and last 2 years of cards. Then we have Vault, which is where you can play any card basically ever released in Hearthstone. This receives balance updates, but way less frequently than in the standard. So there's a ton of different decks you can face here, and definitely not where I would start going into Hearthstone. Just I would start with standard, and here we have casual, where if you don't want to lose your rank, or you just want to try out some deck for the first time, maybe you can play there. But generally I would just recommend just playing standard on the ranked ladder. But to play standard, you first have to build a deck. Now we can take the shortcut here. There's also the button in the main menu to go there, but this is easy here, so let's go there. And then we have here the collection. This is where all your cards are. But first of all, let's explain how the sets work for standard. So to begin, we have a core set here. We can select here all these core cards. Now these are all completely free. These change every year at the start of the first expansion of the year, of the new Hearthstone year. And that means every class gets a bunch of cards here for free, as you can see. So quite a few, and a lot of these cards also just see play in the competitive decks. So these are all very nice and free, but they don't make a complete deck. So we have to go to the the standard cards here. You can also select wild, but again, we're focusing on standard. And what's important to know here is the rotation. So a rotation happens with the very first expansion of the year. There's no other point where the rotation happen. And what happens then is that the oldest 3 sets will rotate. So we can look here at the standard sets, and we can look at the oldest 3, right? We can see here Whizbang's Workshop, Perils in Paradise, and Great Dark Builds. So those are the oldest 3 sets. So when Cataclysm launches, those will go to wild and no longer be playable in standard. But again, if you're watching this after Cataclysm has launched, then you can just look at the oldest 3 sets from there, and that will be Emerald Dream, Lost City, and Time Waste. So easy way to check that. And again, this only happens once per year, but this is very important to know what you want to be crafting, because generally you don't want to be crafting cards that are going to be rotating soon. So always try and craft cards if you can from the current Hearthstone year, like these 3 right now. And with Cataclysm, just try and focus on Cataclysm, especially because during Cataclysm, you get all the cards from Lost City and Emerald Dream for free. So Cataclysm and some time-based cards are the best to craft in. And to craft those cards, you need dust, and you get dust by a disenchanting card. So for example, this card, it's a rare, you get the disenchanted for 20 dust. However, I would avoid the disenchanting cards immediately unless you really need the dust, because if cards get nerfed, you get more dust for them. And try and disenchant bad cards first, because they're likely to not be getting a nerf. Now for crafting, also important to know is there is a duplicate protection. What it means is that if you have a card, you cannot get it in a pack until you have every card of that rarity already. For example, here we have a Nithandra, which is a legendary from Into the Emerald Dream set. You can see that here. And that means if you open an Into the Emerald Dream pack, you will not be getting this legendary until you have every other legendary as well. Also, what I would recommend is not just crafting anything what looks to be good. Make sure you really give it a thought on what you want to be crafting, especially at epics, because they cost 400 dust to craft them, and the legendaries, because you don't really want to be wasting dust, especially not early on. So make sure the legendaries are like played in a lot of decks. For example, like a Xavius kind of card that can just go into anything almost, or try and get legendaries that are just really strong in a few decks, and try not to get legendaries that are not really needed in decks and that are only played in one deck. And yeah, if the deck doesn't see play, it's just useless. So always keep that in mind. And if you want to know more about this, I'll have a playlist in the description where I got videos that go over everything you need to know to maximize your dust value. And finally, if you want to copy decks, it's really easy. Now let's go to this deck. You can click here, right here, to copy, then you get the deck code, and then you can easily make a new deck here. It also works the same way with copying from a lot of deck websites. It's really easy to import decks. Just copy the code, go to a new deck, and it instantly imports the deck, and you get all the cards here. And then if anything is missing, you'll see it right there. So how do you get those cards? Well, for that, we have to go to the shop. If they go back here to the menu, and then for that we go right here to the shop, where you can buy the packs and mini sets that we'll go over. And for standard, we want to go to this here. Now these are Battlegrounds and Arena and Runestones. We'll talk about Runestones in a bit, but those are for those modes. And here we can see you can pre-purchase the next expansion already. Here you can get cards, but these are just cosmetics, so you probably want to be avoiding that when you start. Same with the skins here, just the cosmetic stuff. So we really want to go here is to the packs. This is where you find all the packs you all need. Also, you might be seeing here is a just for you tab, especially as a new player. There's a really nice deal, I think, that I saw where you can get like 10 packs and a legendary for $1. Now this is a really good deal if you want to spend a little bit of money. And well, what pack do you buy? Well, like I mentioned earlier, the rotation is very important. So you can see here again all the expansions, and this is where standard ends. So you can again see these old 3 expansions. They're going to be rotating soon when Cataclysm launches, so we don't really want to buy these packs, but instead we want to buy newer expansions. Again, these 2 expansions as well. These are going to be free with Cataclysm. So during Cataclysm, and right now you don't really want to buy it, but maybe again after Cataclysm, then you'll need the cards again. Then you might want to be buying some packs here. Also, because every pack, there's a really nice rule. In the first 10 packs, there's a guaranteed a legendary in all of them. So if you haven't gotten a legendary from those, then you can maybe buy some of these packs, but you get a lot of packs throughout the year for free. So you might just stack up a few of those packs and then get the legendary already. So mostly what you want to be focusing on again is the newest packs, the newest expansions. So right now I would focus on Across the Time Ways, and with Cataclysm launch, I'd probably focus on Cataclysm, because those cards are going to be in standard for 2 years, while these cards are going to be standard only for 1 year. So those Cataclysm packs will just be way more valuable. And then also here you see is the mini sets. Now they're going to be changing how this works. There's no longer going to be mini sets in in the next year. So this is going to be the last mini set we have. And with mini sets, basically, I would recommend buying them if you just want one of those legendaries. Like we click on them here, you get 4 legendaries. Now make sure to go to normal though, and then it's only 2,000 gold. And for that, you get those 4 legendaries, and that's really, really good. Like a card like a Murder Soul is really good in Druid. Firex sees some play. So if you want to craft one of those, it's way better to buy these mini sets because you get all these cards right here for just 2,000 gold. So it's a really good deal, just only if you actually want one of those legendaries. And again, in the playlist link there will be more tips for this. Now, like I mentioned, there's also the runestones here. You might see this button here, which are runestones, and that's what you can buy here. Now, unlike most the in-game currencies, this is actually the fairest way you can actually do it. There's no sales ever on these, so yeah, what you see is the price you'll have to pay, and yeah, you see here 8,000 runestones is 80 euros or $80. So basically, one runestone is 1 cent. So yeah, it's really easy to understand, but you can pretty much just avoid this. There's no real reason to buy this unless you buy some small things in Battlegrounds. The rest, pretty much, you can just pay with gold, or just like you see here, just pay straight up with money directly. No need to buy the runestones. Now let's go back to the main menu. And here we have a button that's behind the camera. I've moved myself here a bit, but this is the Darkmoon Faire. And yeah, this thing here, you get a free roll every few weeks. There's a new Darkmoon Faire. Now this is extremely expensive to buy. I think to buy all of it, it's 200 euros, dollars. Like it's a crazy price for all of this, and yeah, you pretty much just want to avoid that. Like, this is not worth it unless you really want those cosmetics, but you get a free roll, so make sure to use the free roll, and maybe you get lucky, like I got a free random golden legendary, so that can be nice. Just yeah, just do the free roll and get the hell out of there. And now, how do you buy those packs? Well, that is with gold. And how do you get with gold? Well, again, we go to the journal here, where it was the beginner track at the start. So you start here with the quest, and every week you get 3 new weekly quests, and every day you get a new daily quest. And I would really recommend to try and complete all of them if you can. Now you can also re-roll one if you don't like it, like if you don't want to play a certain class, but generally just yeah, really try and complete that. This is really the best way to gain gold in Hearthstone. And what this does is you get XP if you complete, so you get 1,080 XP because I got the battle pass. And then what you get here is on the battle pass is you rank up. Now we'll go to beginning. So here's the beginning, and if you play it free, then you get the lower track. And if you pay for the battle pass, which is not the worst deal actually, you get also the rewards on the upper tier. But yeah, the lower tier is where you get a ton of free stuff. So every battle pass you get, first of all, a free legendary, and then you go really fast through the first like 20 levels, and you get a ton of stuff, like a ton of free packs for the current expansion. So now that's time waste, but with Cataclysm you get Cataclysm packs here, then you get free cards here, more packs, random epics. Like there's a lot of free stuff here. So yeah, that's what you get. Even a free legendary that sees play. So that is where you get. And then at the end, it's mostly gold, as you can see here, what you get. So this is where you get most of the gold, and a bunch of packs, especially in the beginning. So that's why you want to be completing those quests. Now another way to get XP for this one is going to your achievements, because a lot of achievements also give you XP. Like you can see here, for time waste is an achievement. Play rewind cards, and then every time you play it, you get XP for that, and then you level up. So you can take a look here for what you want, and you find that under the gameplay tab. And all those expansions here at the bottom don't really give XP, but all the newest expansion give a lot of XP, and then you can see what you want to be doing to complete those. So you might just want to aim for that to speed up that reward track a bit. And you can also find here what happens when you level up classes. So we can go here to progression, and then see here, for example, for let's say Death Knight, right? If you rank that up, like here at 50 wins with Death Knight, you get the golden common core set. And then if you get more, you get the portrait at 1,000 wins, you get a golden portrait at 500 wins, and so on. So you can find a lot of rewards here for leveling up every class. Now this is not the only way to earn packs. We also have here is the event track, and you can see I already completed it, but here you also get yeah, weekly and daily quests basically that you'll find here. You can also click on the weekly quest to see if there's going to be a follow-up quest to it. And just like the regular track, you really want to try and complete these. You get a lot of free stuff here. There's always an event track going on. So this one ends in 4 days, and then after that there's going to be a new one, and there's going to be more packs on it. So yeah, on this one, like we've got a new card that I play on ladder. We got the pack and a Tavern ticket, and a golden pack even, so that's worth 400 gold. So that's really nice. And a Tavern ticket, which is 150 gold. And then you even get a lot of free portraits with these as well, golden cards, and then a pack for the next expansion. So really try and, just like with the regular track, complete these. And finally, the last button here is just for some stats here. And yeah, I've I've played this game a little bit, so you can see here the stats, and you can see your rank and wins for each class. So just fun little thing to know. Now let's go back to the main menu again. Now here we have the open packs. There's not much to do here. You just open packs here, and one thing you can do though is open multiple packs at the same time. If you have 5 or more, you can just hold the button here on the packs and they'll stack up, so you can open like 10 or even 40 packs at the same time if you want to speed that up. And before we get to my final recommendations, let's go over these buttons first. First of all, we got the Battlegrounds here. Now this is an auto battler, and it's pretty fun. It's completely free to play, and it has its own reward track where you can unlock things just like in a standard. So I would definitely recommend trying this out for a few games and see if you like it. Then let's go back again and see the other one. So we have Arena. Now this is not quite like standard, but it's playing a lot of the standard cards as well. And this is where you use those Arena tickets, and that cost 150 gold each. Now this is the more expensive arena here, the Underground Arena. So it costs 2 tickets, so 300 gold. And then you get these rewards. So yeah, if you get to 12 wins, there's some huge reward. But as a beginner, as a new player, I would not recommend going here. Yeah, you can use your free tickets. That's fine. But yeah, don't spend gold on this. It's just not really worth it. You're probably getting one of the lower rewards, and these are just not really worth it. If you're a new player, you rather just spend the gold on packs that you actually want. And you can also switch modes. This is where you begin actually is the regular arena. So you go to either 5 wins and 2 losses instead of 12 and 3. And you also get rewards here. And yeah, the rewards aren't terrible. I mean, this is probably best if you want to actually try out the arena. Just lower stakes and a bit more beginner friendly. So that is arena. And we also have modes on top of those modes. And here we have, first of all, the Tavern Brawl. I would definitely recommend to play the Tavern Brawl each week because if you play it, you can see here, the first win, you get a pack. And just a really nice, easy way to get a pack each week. Now, the other thing here we have with modes is the solo adventures. Now, again, in the playlist I'll link, there's some free stuff you can get here as well. But there's some single-player adventures you can play for free. And yeah, some of them even give some cards. And one thing I would recommend here is the Puzzle Lab from the Boomsday project. This is a really fun one where you get a bunch of puzzles. So yeah, I would definitely recommend playing this one if you want to do some of those. And then let's go back again. And finally here we have Mercenaries. And this one is like kind of a Slay the Spire kind of thing they meant to, but it kind of failed. It's been dead for a couple of years. It's still there, but I would definitely avoid going there. So as you've seen, you get a lot of stuff for free in Hearthstone. It means the game is definitely not pay to win. You can get any card as a free-to-play player, but to get like multiple decks, you either you have to spend some money to get those packs or just play for a while and just keep doing those daily quests to stack up the gold and those packs. Now, there's also going to be a lot of free stuff for the coming months and also during the entire year, so it's always good to follow the Play Hearthstone website, and in the description I'll post a link to what you can get for free in the coming months. So what would I do if I would start? Well, first of all, I would complete those Apprentice Tracks that we showed earlier. Just do that whole track. Then when you get to the end, I would play with those loner decks, those 6 loner decks for a week. Just play those, see what the meta is about, what might interest you, what doesn't. Then after that week, I would probably focus on crafting like one cheap deck mostly. Like for example, now you could craft like a Dragon Warrior with almost no dust. That's really good. But there's always a few decks around that are really cheap and competitive. So try and find those. And then with that deck again, just play a bit, see what you want, see what you like in the meta. And just try and learn the game with that one deck. There's so much to learn even after 10 years. I'm still learning. So try and learn with that. And after a while, you can focus on maybe getting a second deck crafted. Play with that. Maybe a bit more difficult deck. Would definitely recommend starting with an easier deck. And if you want to find decks, you can go to a website like Aegis Guru, where you find all the stats and decks completely for free, and I'll link their website as well in the description. Also, I would recommend getting a deck tracker, so during the game you can just keep track of what you have left in the deck and just look at all those cards and see what they do. Now, I have Firestone linked in the description. Now, they aren't sponsoring this video, but they are sponsoring my Twitch stream. And speaking of Twitch, if you have any questions, you can always ask them on my stream, where I stream daily, or here in the comments. And if you want to learn more about Hearthstone, I got that playlist where I go over gameplay tips, tips for dust, tips for gold, which packs to buy, and so on. So check that out if you want to know more about Hearthstone. If this video was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.